Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Blonde Intelligence with me, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, we have a very special guest. We have Miss Angelica. Say hello to everyone, Angelica.
Hi everyone.
I am so glad that you came. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with letting you take over and telling everyone a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so for starters, my name is Angelica Sierra. I'm 22 years old. I've been singing ever since I was little. I was always involved in chorus and NISMA, things like that, especially in the school. Um, and then I was too afraid to kind of advance into the singing career. Once I graduated, I had tried out for American Idol twice, but I froze both times. And that's kind of when I knew I had stage fright. So I started performing on this app called Live Me, and I started singing my own songs. People seemed to really enjoy it, and then it just started taking off from there.
What does every artist need? Press, 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 and more press. Music reviews, interviews, blog articles, press releases, the Blonde Intelligence video show, the Blonde Intelligence podcast, the Blonde Intelligence blog, Blonde Intelligence music reviews. Available on Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube, and more. Social media blasts, build your EPK, expand your fan base, links to your press. For more information, visit blonde-intelligence.com.
There, and now I'm here, and it's unreal.
So your stage fright really came from you being afraid of what people was going to say?
Yes, I am such a people person, and I have a lot of empathy and stuff like that. So I've always been somebody who was an overthinker, and always wanted people to like me. And then if you didn't like me, I was always like, well, why don't they like me? What is it about me? What do I have to do in order for them to like me? I was always like that. That was just me.
So tell me about your new project.
Okay, so the new song that I'm currently working on, that's actually finished and produced now, was called Infinite. And like any of my other songs that I just have written in my notebook, I didn't think anything of it. But then, like I said before, performing on Live Me, people started to become so involved and wanted to know more about it, where they could find it. And my boyfriend has actually been a huge supporter, and he knew Brendan Martin. And he actually ended up producing my song. And Brendan Martin is a pretty big guy out there. So when it happened, I was just kind of like, wow.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the future? I know you have the single out. So are you planning to like join some type of virtual tour, or have you been doing virtual performances? Or are you even thinking of getting vaccinated so you can even go back out into the arena? What are your plans?
Oh, well, currently I work as a nurse, as a CNA. So that has like me pretty occupied, and I'm not exactly sure where this singing is going to lead. I do know that I have gotten so much positive feedback. I actually heard my song on the radio. It has been unreal. And if I can further my singing career and, you know, do something big with it, I would love to. I've always wanted to be a singer, but like you need to know people and you need to know the industry in order to get there. And so I just always had my plan B as like, being a nurse and taking care of people, because that was also what I really, really loved. But virtually wise, I perform on Live Me. So that's kind of been like my base of performing so far. I haven't really learned too much on that to be able to decide what I want to do further.
When our interview is over, I'll give you some more places.
Okay. That was just crazy. I was like, okay.
So tell me, how has COVID, because you said you've always been a performer, how has COVID helped you get over stage fright?
Oh my goodness.
You had to be virtual, and it's like you really performing and you don't know what people are thinking, because it's not like a crowd there to go ah or boo you or
Right.
whatever. So how has that helped?
Well, I guess kind of the whole idea of being cooped up, I started to get really bored. So I was like you know what? I used to go on Live Me all the time and just like sing covers of songs and stuff like that. So I was like, let me share something of my own. And yeah.
So do you think in your ideal world, that you would go on to pursue your education, or do you think that you would actually give working in music full time a chance?
Definitely. If I was given the chance to, without a doubt, I would definitely try to perform in the music industry full time. I love singing. I love learning about music. I have a very strong passion for it, and I love being able to get people to connect with me based off of what I sing. That was my whole main purpose, and getting that feedback back from radio stations, people just like, wow, I can really feel what she's singing, is what I want to do. You know, during times like COVID, I want to be able to connect with people.
Okay. Well, that brings me to another question, because even with COVID, I mean, with me starting even doing this, I was like, how can I reach people and still be home? And so that's why I started this right here. But I look at my analytics, and it seems like to me, I do best in countries that are not the United States. So looking at analytics,
That's so interesting that you say that, though, because I really feel like that's true.
Why you think that?
I think it has a lot to do with the whole stranger aspect. Sharing your stuff to people who don't even know you, and if they like it, they just naturally will support you on it. Where I feel like people who you know in your life, sometimes they don't really want to support you and help you push forward your dream because they're like, oh, I don't want to see you rise up, you know? And even if it's not intentional, they just like do that out of, just like, insecurity, whatever it may be. I just like, the stranger aspect. I feel like people from all over give such a more eye-opener to what you're capable of and your worth more than the people that are right there.
I don't know about being worth more, but I had a talk with a friend of mine, and we were talking about business because he's a business owner. And I said, you have to develop a thick skin. You have to realize that some of those people that's in your corner that say that they're your day ones, sometimes those day ones are people who are rooting for you because they feel like that you are beneath them. And once you get to where they are or become more successful than them, then they don't be day ones anymore, because it's like.
Hi, this is Marlette with Classic Glam by Marlette, where classic never goes out of style. We're based here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but you can reach us on our website at classicglamgirl.com or Facebook and Instagram at Classic Glam by Marlette.
Mary Ruth's Organic is a #1 Amazon bestseller wellness brand dedicated to immune support and gut health products. Made with high quality, non-GMO, plant-based vegan ingredients with the fewest number of allergens possible. Mary Ruth's Organic health products are cat's claw, elderberry, lemon balm, adrenaline focus, ionic zinc, ginseng vitality. Find Mary Ruth's Organics on Instagram at Mary Ruth Organics. Blonde Intelligence is a Mary Ruth Organic partner. Like the true intentions to really come out. I mean, so when you become successful in anything you do, and I mean, he works in a catering business. I mean, it's the same, and no matter what you do, you have some that's going to be there for you no matter what. And then you have some that's just going to do what they do. They feel out of obligation. Like with me, I had a situation where I like to make things. And I had a friend, ooh, I want one of those. I want this personalized. I want this. And then when I start selling stuff, oh, I don't want any of that. Okay. So you have those types that root for you as long as they feel like you're the underdog. Right. So even at being 22, do you feel like you have lost friends on this journey already?
Most definitely. I think that a lot of losing people along my journey was trying to grow, and maybe people have seen it as me trying to grow too fast.
What's too fast?
Not right. And like some people, didn't really like that because, they were still home or they were still trying to figure stuff out. And I kind of had like a career set already. So it was just kind of like I'm ready to try to adult and try to be more grown. My problem is just my overthinking. My feelings are too strong towards other people, that my care of what other people thought of me was so heavy on me for so long that I didn't share my music, that, I was too afraid to do what I truly loved. And it just made me realize that no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. Like, there's always going to be people that are going to critique you, that are just going to see it as bad just because they can. There are just going to be people that don't like it. And that's okay. But those people aren't in your real life story. They're in your virtual life story, Those haters, those commenters, they're not in your real life. And, I think that's like a huge important aspect to look at it and try to not let people get to you so deeply, because even though words hurt, you have to look at the bigger picture, or else you're never going to get to your big dreams or that stuff that you see you doing in the future. It's just not going to be possible. And that's been a huge toll, and still a big, toll/task for me.
Okay. So what do you consider your genre, and what other genres do you think you can sneak into?
Oh my gosh. Well, being funny, I actually would write up little raps because I want to try to learn how to flow better. So I do have raps that I would sing on Live Me, and like a lot of your people would be like, "Oh, it's fire," but like that's like your white girl rap right there, like because it's like it's good, but.
Are you the one where I said I like the Beyonce swing
yes,
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that really well.
Thank you. I feel like I try to fit R&B and soul into like a song because I want to try to make people feel by like, the pains or the success or stuff that I've been through, come to life, while at the same time giving you that, wow, I could just chill and bop to this in my car and be in the mood, like I'm able to like sing out my emotions while also at the same time getting people to connect with me on a level that's like, wow, I could listen to this on repeat.
Okay. So you mentioned that your boyfriend was a big supporter. Do you run melodies and everything by him first, so he's like the first one who actually hear anything, and he's like low-key producing?
Well, actually, his childhood best friend, the Brendan Martin guy, he's the one who actually produces my music. He wants to learn how to do it because, he wants to do it all for me. He's like, I want to be that guy that can help you get there, He's a huge promoter. He's the one who got my song out to all these radio stations. He's the reason my song was on the radio today. I was crying, and he's like, "You're such a big baby," It was super, super crazy.
How your parents feel about you being in the music industry?
I think that they're the kind of parents that see it as like, oh, unless, you become big, you won't make it far with the music. So they're not very, push, do it, because they want me to be stable and not have to worry. They want me to be set in a career. So it's kind of hard.
But they let you make your own decisions.
Yeah, they definitely let me make my own decisions, even if it's not like the decisions that they kind of agree with. But, yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Since you are a singer, you work at DNA, how often do you sing to your patients?
Oh, actually, I sing to them all the time. I've been playing Infinite for them and just watching their eyes light up. And, I had my one resident, she's like, wow, like, I really, really like this. And it's just so sweet. My old job, I used to sing to them all the time before COVID. And like I dabble in the piano. I don't know any notes, but like I can make stuff sound nice.
Well, that's called playing by ear.
Yes, that's pretty much what I do. That's because I've never learned how to like read music, so I always just sang from like listening, and that's just kind of been how I did things. And I don't know why I never learned how to read music. I have no idea. I was in chorus my whole life, but I never could just put the two and two together. But for singing for my residents, I actually had one of my residents' sons come in one day, and he recorded me singing to his mother, and it went viral. Like, it popped off, and it was an amazing feeling, and it was just like, wow, I wish there were more people like you out there. It's amazing to see that people really do care when, you have to be put in a situation where your mom might have to go into a home. Knowing that there are people out there that have that kind of empathy and love as if they're your own family is so extremely important, because especially during times like COVID, it's scary to think, is my mom being properly taken care of? Is my dad, my grandpa, my grandma? It's very important.
Okay. So tell me this. Are your plans, because when we first started talking, you said you're in upstate New York. Is your plans to stay in upstate New York, or do you have plans on around soon? I know you're still young. You have like a whole lifetime in front of you, but what are your plans for the future on location?
I'm hoping that I can travel all over and be like one of those, singers that are all over, making music with different people, doing big things. I really want to be involved in that industry. I want to be able to get to know people, producers, people that make beats, and just kind of learn all about it. But like I said, it's kind of like a world where you have to know people in order to travel and do these things and not have to worry about if your bills are getting paid.
So you would like to be signed to a label?
Right.
Okay. So tell me this. With you being young and everything, and a lot of the women in the industry now are waiting to like their 40s to have children or getting surrogates or anything. Have you configured family into the equation?
Yes. I really want to have children. Like I say all the time, even though I'm not really ready necessarily right now, family is like everything to me. But right now, me and my boyfriend are both on the same page of like, we want to build. We want to make sure that we have a solid empire before we bring in children to raise, because that's just us. How we grew up in the situations that we were put through. We have that same mentality, and the fact of family is very important, and we want to make sure that we're stable in an environment where we can raise our child with, hopefully no issues that we can't take care of from the get-go.
Okay, with saying that, and everybody that you know in the music industry, what couple in the music industry that has children would you think would be a good model?
Oh, I think would be a good model. Honestly, I really haven't followed music people. Like, it's crazy because my biggest singers are like singers from like songs from back in the day that I still go off of. Like, I still haven't really opened my ears to like more music that are out there, especially the newer music today. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm more like Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, Adele, all those like feeling type of songs. So I don't really know. I don't keep up on the magazines, the like stuff going on with different celebrities. I don't really follow that stuff.
But I'm going to ask you a question. And you may not know, but I'm going to ask you because it's full. And it's like now, to me, with COVID, people are finding other ways to do things. Like with radio stations, you will call into the radio station to do an interview. Or, with TV, you would normally go to the TV studio. One day I was just sitting there watching CNN, and I actually went to YouTube, and CNN is on YouTube. So I want to know, what do you think about, as they call it, the YouTube streets for artists?
I think that YouTube is a very solid platform in order to get yourself out there. But at the same sense, you have to think about all social media aspects, because I mean, if you're not somebody who's already has an audience and you put a song on YouTube, that's like hit or miss. It's like you're waiting for something that may never light, you know? So
No, that's not it. That's because you didn't pay for a video ad campaign. Once you post your video on YouTube, you're going to pay for a Google video ad campaign where it's going to run your ad. And your ad is the video. So you know how you sitting there watching YouTube and then the ad pops up? Sometimes it goes over into a whole nother video if you don't skip the ad.
Right. Oh, wow.
We'll talk later.
Yes, please.
The only thing is when you use your distribution, sometimes if you do like your distribution through a place that will control your YouTube videos, you know how they'll post the song and you can do a video where you can upload through your distribution. I recommend, and it's just just me, I recommend getting your own distribution. That way you can do the music distribution on one, the video distribution where you can control the video distribution. And when it's time to get paid, it's paid directly to you, not going to this. What does every artist need? Press, 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 and more press. Music reviews, interviews, blog articles, press releases, the Blonde Intelligence video show, the Blonde Intelligence podcast, the Blonde Intelligence blog, Blonde Intelligence music reviews. Available on Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube, and more. Social media blasts, build your EPK, expand your fan base, links to your press. For more information, visit blonde-intelligence.com. Company then to you. So, but the video ad campaigns are very important. LinkedIn is even doing video ad campaigns now. Of course, Spotify does the ads, and then even with and I wrote a blog on it. Most radio stations, half of the radio stations, get their playlist from the Spotify playlist. And if you wait on some distribution to put your music out, it never goes in to be considered to be on the Spotify playlist. So once you do your distribution, I just copy and paste the whole thing and I email it straight to Spotify, because you need to, they say 2 weeks, but I give it 4 weeks to give it to Spotify to listen to get placed on playlists. And you get it to the radio stations much quicker if you're placed on the playlist. But if you wait until the song actually come out, they won't do it because they want it to be fresh and brand new. Right. And you do that without paying for an actual campaign.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because what I did was go through TuneCore, and, my boyfriend had helped with all that setup, and we set it for, like you said, to do that, that part where you wait the 4 weeks out, which is why we, I was like, wait.
Don't answer that. Because a lot of stuff you can do yourself. You can, as an independent artist, you can do distribution. Yes, some of them offer publishing deals where they're registered for the charts and have it virtually encoded and do all these things for you. But you can do those things for yourself and keep 100% of all your money. And the only thing that you would have to pay for is distribution. And I'm not talking to
that's what I did. I just paid for distribution.
But I have another question. I know your single is out. Is it part of an EP? Is it part of an album? Is it just a single?
It's just a single right now, and it actually drops on Valentine's Day.
Okay. So do you plan on making it as part of an EP later, or what are you gonna do after this single?
Depending on what happens with it and the type of feedback that I get back, I'm about to be like, okay, let's get this album going, Like, I have a lot of songs ready to be in the works. I'm able to write as soon as you give me a beat, like, as long as it's something that I write to, something that goes along with, me being able to connect to the paper.
Have you ever thought about writing for a record label?
Doing what?
Have you ever thought about writing for a record label?
I haven't, but if given the opportunity, I definitely would consider. I love writing music.
I mean, music to me is music, whether you're a singer, or if you're in the business part, or if you're a promoter, all of that is the business. And I feel like artists should know the business, because it's going to get to a point where if you sing R&B, to me it seems like you have a longer lifespan in the music industry. To me, you have to learn how to do other things in the industry to continuously make money, because when you break it down with cost and everything that you have to do, the artist makes the least amount of money. So you have to find other things that you're good with within the industry to continuously make money, to find the right investment. I mean, even if it's just getting T-shirts with a slogan that you have on there to be able to put on your website to sell. You have to find more than one way to make money when you're in the music industry, especially being the artist.
Right. Yeah, that's super important.
So is there anything else that you would want anybody to know about Miss Angelica Sierra?
Just that Infinite drops on Valentine's Day, and if you're interested in hearing me as a new artist and trying to come out, please go get it. It will be on all platforms.
Okay, what's your social media handles? Where can they find you and follow you?
Okay, so my Instagram is Smiley Anges.
Spell it for me.
One word together, just Smiley Anges. Like, especially because on Live Me, I go by Smiley. And then my other Instagram is
Miley or SMI?
SMILEY.
Okay.
And then Anges, ANGS.
Okay.
And that's my Instagram. And then everything kind of gets promoted and put there. And once everything starts dropping, links will be out all the time.
So you only do Instagram, you don't do Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, LinkedIn?
No, I do Snapchat and Facebook, but I can also link those as well right on the Instagram. So that way, it's all on one part. So you don't have to be all over the place to try to look for me.
All right. Don't forget, I thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. What?
I'm happy to have you. Her new single, Infinite, comes out on February the 14th, 2021. Look for it on all platforms. Also, don't forget that this right here is on all podcasting platforms as well as YouTube and IGTV. And I thank you for coming. And, my bar jewelry line is out. Also, the shoe line. And you can always advertise with Blonde Intelligence. Again, I'm Miss Ronnie. And thank you, Miss Angelica, for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. Super great.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Advertise with Blonde Intelligence, where our listeners experience exquisite cranial repertoire. Blonde Intelligence is a new podcast and video channel featuring entertainment, musical artists, producers, entrepreneurs, as well as discussions on social topics, making the Blonde Intelligence platform suitable for a wide variety of product ad types. Video, Instagram TV, YouTube, and links shared to all Blonde Intelligence social media pages and select group networking platforms. This creates a collective base of over 50,000 potential sets of eyes on your product or service. Each sponsored ad will feature on both the podcast and video platforms. Sponsors have the choice of either a voice ad or audio-video ad, with 3 options for placements. Create a win-win business partnership by advertising with Blonde Intelligence.